It is December 11th, 2023, and today I turn 24. It is December 11th, 2024, and today I turn 25. 14,247 subscribers on YouTube. Currently on YouTube, I have 14,595 subscribers. Last year, I downscaled my gear locker quite a lot, but currently we're shooting on the Canon R6 as my primary camera. That being said, I actually also have a Canon R7 as a secondary camera. I am currently shooting on the Canon RF 15-35 f2.8. For microphones, what you are listening to is the Sennheiser MKH416. For my desk microphone, I use the Electro Voice RE20, and for vlogs, I use the Sennheiser MKE400. This year saw one major change to my camera setup, and that is the addition of the Canon R6 Mark II, which is currently filming this shot with the 50mm RF 1.8. I do still own my Canon R6, but I do not own a Canon R7 anymore. My main microphone at the moment is the MKH416, and my main desk microphone is the RE20, and my main vlogging microphone is the MKE400. I would consider myself quite satisfied with the gear of which I own. However, I would say if I could have one dream microphone, it would be the Sennheiser MKH50, and my dream lens at the moment is the Canon RF 24mm f1.8. One thing that I wish that I did own would be a car that isn't falling apart. I know that it is inevitable that I'm gonna leak my license plate, and someone's gonna search up the MOT history, and put it this way. Don't know how many advisories are legal, but I'm sure my car is close to the limit. So yes, if I could have one thing, just a car that feels safe to be inside of. The advice that I would give to upcoming creators or YouTubers or filmmakers shifts almost every year. Currently, my focus this past year has been creating content that I want to make, forgetting the algorithm. And because of that, I have felt this level of fulfillment that otherwise I wouldn't have felt when it comes to the movies that I produce. Another piece of advice I would offer is try and find emotion and enhance that for the viewer. When it comes to advice for upcoming YouTubers, it changes every year because the platform changes every year. And I think it's quite evident that 2024 was the year of YouTube Shorts. Now, I'm very fortunate to have a background in short form content, and well, I can vouch from personal experience that shorts are a great way to spread your channel to the masses. Although they don't necessarily reach your particular target audience, views are views at the end of the day, and let's be honest, a quick paycheck doesn't really hurt that bad. And if you are creating shorts for YouTube, you can always put them on other platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, but be sure to put specific content on each of those platforms. You don't just have to copy and paste what you put on YouTube to all of them. Sometimes it's good to have a little bit of variety and post some exclusive content to those platforms in particular. Personally, I think the trend of making quick cut content where it's like, look at this, wow, this is amazing, you know, in the first like 30 seconds is dying out. And I think storytelling and personality content is definitely making a trend upwards. So be sure to make sure that your personality more than ever is coming out in your content in 2025. I haven't had any opportunities to travel to any new places, which in itself is kind of sad, but it has enabled me to discover and explore places that I already know. A location that comes to mind is Bournemouth, a city on the south coast of England, which is only a few miles away from this studio. It's been so cool to rediscover a location that I already know, and to be able to find lots of new filming locations that I've been able to implement into the videos this past year. Just a couple of months ago, me, myself and I, my boyfriend, my current housemate and former housemate, decided that we would take a road trip around 𝗟𝗂, a little part of South Wales. To note that this was not my first time to 𝗟𝗂, but it was the first time going on a vacation with people of my own age who are not my parents. We decided that we would hit up all of the peninsula, and many new places were discovered mostly by accident. Luckily, we didn't puncture any of the car tires. I think we all know what my biggest achievement was this year, and if you have been living under a rock, well, if you didn't know, I was elected into office as a town councillor. I'm a politician, baby. That was so cringe. I know earlier this year I was suggesting that I potentially would be buying a house with my boyfriend. Those plans were scrapped, obviously. We're still here. It's great. It's fantastic news. But I also think it's that idea of, in life, the achievement of actually becoming comfortable. My apartment, it was a little bit shaky at times. So having a place that I can actually call home and for it to feel like home just feels like the biggest achievement this year. I feel like I'm barely holding on to my own narrative. Everything just feels such like an arm reach away, and I'm barely keeping my head above the surface. So really, I still don't think I'm happy. I feel like maybe I'm getting there. I feel like in a few more years, maybe, but not quite yet. To be blunt about my level of happiness, I feel like it's cliche for me to say every year, no, I am not happy, and give a very humbling reason to as why. So I'm gonna echo that opinion once again this year. I feel like my underlying mental health this year specifically has been a roller coaster, as probably expected for anyone who does what I do, or anyone in a similar situation to what I have faced. I wouldn't say it has been abnormal, but I would say it's definitely been rocky. I think the point of this is, no, I'm not necessarily happy. I think I've come a long way since last year, and even the year before that. However, right now, happiness seems like a stone's throw away, and I think it would be achievable to reach that endpoint of true happiness in the next couple of years. That being said, my social group this past year has grown so dramatically, which has been fantastic. From meeting the likes of Grace, who has helped me make many of videos this past year, to the fact that I've rekindled a past friendship with my new housemate. The work that I have done, be it as a counsellor or in my work with pride events such as Trans Pride Southampton, has really helped just my general well-being. And I'm so glad that I am happy and content with the social life aspect of my life. I would definitely say it's a little bit shaky when it comes to my home life. It feels very peculiar being in a new town and really leaning into adulting properly. And I wouldn't say I'm content or happy with that, but it's something that I am in control with and something that I know I can work towards. Career-wise, this past year has been pretty hard, pretty miserable, but I am very fulfilled by the work that I have done. Being a town councillor in my second year, it is very stressful, and it's very hard when it comes to making the right decision. Most of the time, there are options that are positive, but having to decide something that's going to be so impactful is a stress and a burden that has been wild to manage. When it comes to content this past year, it has been lacking. There is no denying that. But with that being said, the projects that I have released in the past 12 months have been incredible, and I am so content with their outcomes and the impact that they have had to the wider community. But overall, as I said, career-wise, it's not quite there yet. I feel like I've lost the positivity and that flair that I had in past years, and have moved that positivity to my social life that I was missing a few years back. I think now that I'm 25, it is that age to find that balance and to level things out just that little bit more. A valuable life lesson that I learned this past year is that life can change in a beat of a heart. Quite literally. Who knew that I would lose someone in my life who was very important to my family? And then who knew that I'd be arranging a funeral for another individual just a few months later? It's just so scary that how one day can be so bright and so fluffy, and then the next can be the end of the line for another. I think having documented my life on YouTube specifically for the last 10 years, most of my teenage years were caught on camera. For the better or for the worse, through the highs, through the lows, from the cringe to the successes. I think this past year, having not been carrying a camera every single day, everywhere that I've gone, has really enabled me to embrace the small things and to really appreciate the people that I'm with and the way that my life is turning out. That being said, I think next year, more memories will be caught on camera. But for this past year, it's been a nice reset to really just find those moments of joy and experience them with my own eyes and not having to worry about sharing it with your eyes. Success is not about how high you climb. It's about how you make a positive difference to the world. A quote that I feel sums up this year specifically is, "The greater the storm, the brighter the rainbow." It's weird to comprehend actually now being 25. It's something that you don't necessarily think about until you're there. And I think the hardships that have shaped me in my last 25 years on this earth have really turned me into the person that I am today. So no matter how hard the storm that you are going through right now, I just hope that the rainbow that you'll have at the end of it all will be as great as it is for me now.